I reported to my final day of detention, only to have Mr. Wilkes tell me that he had a family emergency and couldn't stay to babysit me, so I was off the hook. Problem was, by the time he told me, the first bus had already left, so I was still stuck at school for an extra hour, even if I didn't have spent it in his classroom. Mom was at work, so I couldn't call her for a ride, and there was no way I was going to ask Grandma. I didn't want a repeat of her last visit to Hannah Dustin. So I wandered down the halls, wondering how to occupy myself. It was then that I noticed the doors to the school theater were open. Curious, I peeked in. The lights on stage were up full, and the drama kids were rehearsing. Suddenly, Chad Murray entered stage left, wearing a belted tunic and carrying a sword. I grinned involuntarily. Chad in tights. Delish. Yes, I still hadn't been able to shake my crush, especially after he'd gone out of his way to return my drawing last week. He really was a nice guy, no matter who he hung with, and smart, too. I noticed he was always acing tests in class. And though he rarely raised his hand, when the teacher called on him, he always had something interesting to say. Totally unlike the rest of the haters, who were self-absorbed idiots who saw school as a platform to enhance their small-town celebrity status, rather than a house of learning. I sighed. If only there was a way to get to know him better. But whenever I saw him, he was glued to Billy's side, and that made him permanently off limits. Not to mention he was way out of my league. I'd seen the beautiful girls who threw themselves at him on a daily basis. If he didn't go for them, there was no way he'd ever go for me. But that didn't mean I couldn't spy from afar. So I propped my knees against the chair in front of me and got comfortable, pulling out my sketchbook. Maybe I could get some inspiration from my manga for the in-game scenes. After all, they were performing the Arthurian play Camelot, and so there was a definite medieval theme going on, similar to the Elfin Kingdom in my book. As I turned my attention to the stage, I saw Chad/Lancelot falling to his knees in front of the fair maiden playing Guinevere, a.k.a. Sarah Silver from my B-period history class, taking her hand in his. I looked up at her, transforming from high school student to beautiful knight, beseeching his lady queen.
"Genny,"
he said in an English accented voice.
"I love you. God forgive me, but I do."
I squirmed in my seat, his words sending delicious tingles down to my toes. Funny, it was kind of like how I imagined Sir Leo would talk, if he were real. That formal English speech, his voice, rich and almost majestic. I closed my eyes for a moment, my mind in fantasy overdrive, imagining Chad, on his knees, whispering those words to me. "Then God forgive us both!" Sarah/Guinevere cried, pulling me out of my daydream as she pulled the night actor to his feet. They paused for a moment, locking eyes on each other. Then Chad slowly took her face in his hands and pressed his mouth against hers. A pang of jealousy stabbed my gut, and I watched them lock lips. So unfair. They kissed only for a moment, then broke away to continue the scene. I watched, impressed. Chad was good. Really good. Up there on stage, he seemed like a different person from the one that hung out with Billy and the haters. More confident, more sure of himself. He wasn't shuffling and stammering like he normally did. He was in his element here, I guessed. Just like I was when I pulled out my sketchbook and drew. The scene ended, and Mr. Seifert, the drama coach, stood up from his seat in the front row.
"Okay, take 5.
He said.
Chad and Sarah, good work. Keep it up."
The house lights came up, flooding the room and raising my low profile by quite a bit. Embarrassed at being caught lurking, I jumped up from my seat and started heading for the door.
"Maddie, wait."
"Busted." I froze. Someone was calling me from down by the stage. Someone that sounded suspiciously like Chad. My heart started pounding in my chest, and I realized my hands were shaking. I shoved them behind my back as I turned around. He ran up the aisle and stopped in front of me. "Yes?" I asked, cool, calm, and collected. Well, sort of. He stared at me, as if he'd forgotten why he had called out to me. He ran a hand through his tousled blonde hair, and I noticed his cheeks were all flushed, probably from running after me. Surely he wasn't blushing.
How's your manga coming?"
he asked.
"Did you decide to enter that contest?"
Oh, I was surprised at his question. Actually, yeah, I did. I figured out a great storyline for it, and I've just been sketching out the scenes. It's sort of half fantasy and half real life. I'm calling it Gamer Girl, and I trailed off. What was wrong with me? Why was I babbling about my manga? As if he cared what it was about. Sure, he asked, but he was probably just being polite. And here I was rambling on and on like a total geek. Stupid Maddie, really stupid.
Cool title.
Chad remarked, smiling at me.
So, what's the storyline?
Well, I stammered. I couldn't believe he actually sounded interested. It's about this girl who starts playing this video game and then gets sucked into the virtual world. She, becomes her game character and has to use her new powers to...
Maddie!
Matt called out from down the aisle. I forgot that he was a drama geek, too. I swallowed down my annoyance at the interruption. After all, he had no idea of my crush on Chad or how long I'd wanted to have a conversation with the guy. Still, he had the worst timing ever. Hey, Matt, I said, giving him a small wave. I turned back to Chad. So, yeah, she has to figure out how to get home and...
Did you watch our scene?
Matt butted in again as he reached us. I seriously wanted to kill him.
What did you think? Did you have any interest in trying out? We're still casting a few of the minor roles.
I shook my head. No way. I'm so not an actress. Something inside reminded me about role-playing with Sir Leo, but I dismissed it. That was different. In private and not in front of an audience. And in any case, with my popularity level at Hannah Dustin, I'd probably get Rotten Tomatoes thrown at me on opening night, even if I did manage to give a Tony-worthy performance. But, yeah, I thought you guys rocked up there. I turned to Chad. You were really good, I told him. Chad blushed, staring down at his feet.
Thanks,
he said.
I live for this stuff.
I studied his beautiful face. You really like it, huh? Acting, I mean. He nodded.
When I'm up there, on stage, it's just a powerful feeling, you know? It's like I can be anyone.
I can see that.
Have you ever been up on stage before?
Matt blurted out, obviously still not getting that this was an A-B conversation. He should be seeing his way out of it. Urgh. I thought about it for a moment. No, unless you count the time I was the baby Jesus understudy my first Christmas. Matt snorted.
No, it doesn't count.
He reached out and grabbed my hand, dragging me away from Chad.
Come on, it's high time you tried.
Oh no. I dug my heels in. No. 1, I wanted to finish my convo with Chad. And 2, I had absolutely zero desire to go up on stage in front of everyone. He grinned wickedly.
Come on, just for a sec.
I sighed. I was so not going to win this fight. I could feel Chad's eyes on me as Matt pulled me on stage. Great. Not only would I be stuck up here with Matt, but Chad would be watching my sure-to-be pitiful performance. How embarrassing. Now what? I asked, feeling lame and stupid. The lights blinded me, and I couldn't see out into the auditorium without squinting. At the same time, I could feel all the stares from the drama club members, probably wondering what Freak Girl would do next.
Okay, so you be Guinevere, and I'll be Lancelot. I'm actually Chad's understudy.
Matt explained. He dropped his voice.
Even though I'm so much better than him, you know?
Sure he was. Okay, but I don't really get what you want me to do.
Just follow my lead.
Matt grabbed my hands, then dropped to his knees and looked up at me with his typical, overdramatic flair.
Genny!
He cried.
I love you. God forgive me. But I do.
He recited. Yuck, he was terrible. And the lines sounded so different when they came from Chad.